Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and today I will be showing you how you can create research projects using Consensus AI. So we will be covering this entire process of creating research project using Consensus AI in two different parts. Part 1 will cover half of the process of creating research project, and part 2 will cover all the components that will help you finish up your research project. So let's begin with the part 1 of this video. So without any further delay, I'll start the video, but before creating this video, a huge shout out to our sponsors, Consensus, who are providing support to our channel for creating these amazing videos, and you are getting benefited from that. If you are not aware what Consensus is, it is a quick video for you that will introduce Consensus for your research. Meet Consensus, the intelligent way to search for scientific research. Type in a question and let Consensus instantly sort and summarize trusted research findings all in one place. No more endless scrolling. With Consensus, you find what you need fast, clear, and verified. Compare studies effortlessly. Consensus allows you to analyze research from various sources side by side, helping you to make informed decisions quickly. Personalize your research experience. Create profiles that save your preferences, making it easier to access your most relevant topics. Collaborate seamlessly. Share your findings with colleagues and collaborate in real time, ensuring everyone is on the same page. Get Consensus today and simplify your research journey. So Consensus AI is an AI tool which you can use for literature search. At the same time, you can use this tool for various other purposes. I have made one video where I have showed all the capabilities that Consensus AI have that will help you in your research projects. Please watch that video. I'll put the link of that video in the description box and explore that video before watching this one. I've also used Consensus and compared it with other tools like PubMed, Google Scholar, just Google ChatGPT. All these tools, I've compared them all together and made a video on that one. Please watch that video also before watching this one. In this video, we will be exploring how we can basically outline a research project. And this video will be helpful to early career researchers or young researchers, maybe those who are entering into PhD, or maybe they are designing their UG, PG projects. If you're an experienced researcher, this video is going to help you. Maybe it will add a few things in your basic understanding of the research project, because experienced researchers, they already have a good idea how to formulate research projects. But the early career researchers, they don't have that idea. So this video is going to help them find out how you can design your own research projects. And why designing of research project is important, because nowadays research is something that is coming up in all the degree programs that you do, whether it is UG, whether it is PG. So that is why all those degrees, they have that research component, and you need to design your research project. And I've seen those students failing to meet the basic criteria on how to design the research project. There is a gap in this area. So I wanted to explore and see if we can use AI to help students to design their own research projects. That will help the supervisor also, because then supervisor will have some basic layout of the research project, and it will be advanced by that particular experienced person. Now we need to be very, very careful when we use AI in research. All the criterias, the ethical standards should be followed. So we'll make sure that all those things are getting followed when we are creating the videos. And I'll also tell you that where are those those red lines which you should not pass, and you should be very, very careful while designing your research project. But it will be a fun exercise, because I've already done this on one of my project for this particular video. So I got good result, decent result. So if any student is able to do that and come up with that research project, I think any supervisor expecting something from UG or PG student will be happy to get that kind of research project. Okay. But one thing I want to tell you, that the real expertise from experienced researcher, peer reviewers is very, very important. You cannot be just designing the projects and submitting to funding agencies. I highly recommend you submit your research project to various professors who are in contact with you, and you can submit those projects to those researchers, and they will give you feedback that is going to transform that particular basic project into the advanced one. Okay, I hope you like the basic capabilities that I've showed you regarding the Consensus, and now I will be showing you a particular process. By following that process using Consensus AI, you should be able to generate a basic layout of a research project. So let's get started. All right, before we start creating the layout of a research project, we need to understand what a research project is and how it is different from other publications or research papers, how it is different. In research project, what you do is you try to write that in the form of a futuristic way, where you're trying to find out that a novel idea, or you're trying to propose a novel idea that may work in future, and you don't have good results. You don't have, probably you will not have even some results. If there are preliminary results that are supporting your hypothesis, that would be great. But in that research project, what you will be providing is the futuristic experiments or the ideas that you want to test. So you need to have a particular hypothesis for your research project. So there are a few components that I'll lay out for you. So the first component is defining the research question. But first, we need to define a research question. Here, I will be taking the example of quorum sensing. That is my research area. I work on quorum sensing, antibiotic resistance, biofilm formation, and how, this is my research area where I'm trying to identify how the bacteria, they are developing antibiotic resistance, how the cell-to-cell communication is required for the development of antibiotic resistance. So this is my research area. You can have your research area, and you can formulate or design a research question around that. So the first one is defining the research question. I'll take the example that we want to, identify some natural anti-quorum sensing compounds, and we need to, work on identification of natural quorum sensing compounds, and they should be effective against a particular pathogen, which is Pseudomonas aeruginosa in this case. Right. So basically, what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to write a project on identification or investigation of anti-quorum sensing activity of natural compounds against Pseudomonas aeruginosa, something like that. And you can have projects like identification of beta-lactamase inhibitors, identification of novel antibiotics, identification of new bacteria that is helpful for human gut. There are so many things you can do. And the good thing is you can also ask these questions from AI, and AI will give you some of the answers. We can start from that. So whatever your research area is, you can ask, give me few good research questions, or define research questions. We can also correct that. Give me or define few research questions on anti-quorum sensing compounds. Now you can see these things are human to human. They are specific on your understanding. They will be specific on certain other people understanding. So you can actually see we are getting good research questions. We are getting what are the mechanisms by which plant-derived natural products inhibit quorum sensing in pathogenic bacteria, right? Because probably there is a lot of literature gap in this particular area where mechanism of those plant products is unknown. Now next is, how do benzothiazole derivatives function as anti-quorum sensing agents in agriculture setting, right? It's a very good research question. So you're getting lots of research question. Can essential oil such as those from tarragon effectively inhibit quorum sensing and proteolytic activity in food associated bacteria? So consensus AI is also going to help you with defining your research question. Probably to define a research question is one of the critical tasks, one of the difficult tasks for any researcher, because for that you need to know everything that is happening in that particular area. Now, how we can expect anything from a young researcher or a UG or PG student to come up with research questions is very, very difficult. So most of the time, supervisor is going to give you the research question, but here, using consensus AI, you can find new research questions, and those probably are going to match to the expertise of that particular researcher. So it's very, very good exercise that you can do, identification of various research questions. So here you can identify that there are a lot of research questions. I'll take the example of the first one, which is right over here. What are the mechanisms by which plant-derived natural compounds inhibit quorum sensing in pathogenic bacteria? That could be a very good research question. And we will just change it a little bit, and then we'll see what we should do next. So now we have our research question where we need to identify novel natural plant-derived compounds to inhibit the quorum sensing signaling of pathogenic bacteria, which is Pseudomonas aeruginosa in this case. So it is very, very important if your research question is specific, it's clear. Here you can see pathogenic bacteria is mentioned, so you want to change it to a particular organism, because otherwise it will be very, very a kind of a broad question where you have a lot of bacteria that are present and that are causing disease in humans. So I have defined that, but that is why it's important. It's important that you need to understand and discuss these research questions with your supervisors. But this is how you can get the research questions. Now moving on to the second one, which is conducting a literature review on that particular topic. So let's do a literature review on this particular topic. For example, for us, we will be doing a literature review on already known natural anti-quorum sensing compounds, because we need to identify compounds that are already present so that we are not designing our experiments on those same compounds. If we do that, then we are not targeting that research gap, we are not targeting that literature gap, and our project will not be approved by any funding agency, because they will do the literature search, and if you are working on the same thing, then your project likely is going to get rejected. Now in this one, I've already designed this, so I'll just paste that in, paste that question. You can also design your own prompts. Here I have written, identify and evaluate the anti-quorum sensing properties of natural compounds such as gingerone, curcumin, or cinnamaldehyde. So these are the compounds that are already being explored for their anti-quorum sensing activity. I'm saying just identify those compounds, and you can also, interestingly, you can also get the results in the table form. So sometimes it's convenient for me. I usually want to read the results in the table form. It's more organized for me. So as you can see, mechanisms is also been mentioned, and those compounds that are written by us, we are also seeing their activity. Now I think we should not give the examples of specific compounds, but however, you can read a lot of literature and create your own tables, but it will help you to design your literature analysis much better, because here you can actually see, now I'm not mentioning what kind of natural products I'm looking for. It will give you a lot of other products that are being explored with their mechanism of action, target pathogens, and key findings, which is great. Which, believe me, it is great. It's going to save you a lot of time. At the same time, the literature that you're getting is very, very good. It's going to give you peer-reviewed information, not just the information coming from non-peer-reviewed journals, and it's also going to give you the information from good journals, highly cited papers, or something like that. So as you can see from here, you will get a good idea that natural compounds such as these flavonoids, phenolic acids that are really already known to have anti-quorum sensing activity. Here, benzaldehyde derivatives like orthovalenine is one of the known compounds. So the mechanism is also written over here. Not LAS, but RHL, R receptor binding activity. And then literature is also there. Microbiology Spectrum is the journal where it got published. So if you want to get that, I'll just click on that particular paper right over here, and I can open that in a new tab and then explore what's going on in this paper. And then you can actually see the score of the journal. It's a Q1 journal, which is really good. So this is how this kind of information you'll get from consensus, which is great, right? Abstract is also there, and then outcome is also written. So this is really good because it gives you a key takeaway from this one. Methods also, just the highlight of the methods that are being used, outcomes in detail also, right? So probably this is what you will be doing with a lot of these papers, and reading them and identifying what kind of mechanisms they have used. But you're getting first-hand peer review information from consensus. So as you can see, I can find a lot of compounds that are being explored, and this will help me. This will really help me identifying and narrow down which particular compound is not being explored. If I'm working on a particular compound, I can just write down directly over here that whether this compound is being explored, and probably if there is any literature available, that literature is going to pop up right over here. Okay, so this is how you can identify the literature behind that particular research question, right? And now the critical point is, which is third one, identifying the knowledge gap. This is very, very important, and I have created a prompt for that one also for consensus. Those who are not familiar with how consensus work, it's also going to work in the same way the ChatGPT uses. So you can design your own prompts and just paste them right over here. It's going to give you information, but that information will be peer reviewed. So the third one, which is really important, I think, for any research project, which is identifying the knowledge gap, and also identifying the formulation of the hypothesis. All right, that is all for part 1. I hope you have enjoyed the part 1. Now I'll be meeting you in the part 2 of this particular video.